I'm on this for life, nigga. This shit blow. Hey, yo, Madara. Here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turn is back. Go. I'm a crip. We got so this little trying to pick up with a blind. They said there'll be many matches. I'm just for my time share. That was a plan for it. I'm a priest. You won't make it out in one piece, so you can stay. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times and it's death to his heart. So how you feel about this truth out the show? This ain't the life you think, nigga. I should walk now. Even your own people go this show. And the Lord said they hate you for my name. So you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing. Ain't no more questions. Make sure my life until I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital N's. Murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement. We like fuck 'em. Raise it. I pity those watching life as it goes by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. It's pump smoke, never try to. The dead and all my brother be the dead. It's all I know. The photo salute my nigga. Salute my nigga. Like how you stay focused? I told him my motive. Man, cause the you my nigga. Brotherhood. Hey. Under anesthesia. Shorty say she need me. She wanna let that love go. So but if I bring you, I should meet you for.
All right, clap it up. The Israelite School, the University of Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street Hall, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. Today we are closing the Feast of Purim. Y'all clap it up for Austin, Texas. We opening up their building right now. You know what I'm saying? We have to thank the Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? Last year we was opening up on the same day. We was opening up the school in Killeen. And then a year later, we opening up this building in Austin, Texas. And it's crazy because as the world shut down, as the economy shut down, as your country goes to war, the Lord is opening up more safe houses for Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. Right. To learn who they are, to learn their culture, and to come back to their God. And now today we want to talk about this feast day and why it's so important. This is probably one of my favorite feast days, especially because this feast day has to do with brothers and sisters working together. And in this captivity that we're in right now, we're not going to be able to get out of the captivity by the man's work alone. You know what I mean? It's not going to be just the men going to work, the men putting in bricks. The women are going to have to play their role as well as the men, because we are in this captivity together. We're going to have to get out of it together by doing the thing that the Lord told us to do, and that's for us to come together. We're going to have to trust each other, stand by each other, be by each other's side, and work as a team in order for us to get out of this captivity, because by a team, we went into this captivity. All right? So we're going to start with the book of Esther. This feast day is in the book of Esther. We're going to start at chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 1. We're going to go through it so you can understand what this entire memorial is about. This is not a holy day. This is a memorial. This is a day that we remember because of the victory that we had over our enemy. Just like the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Dedication. We remember the Feast of Dedication because we remember how the Lord had us to be victorious over a strong country, a strong military. You understand? And we are in that same predicament right now. We're in the U.S. under one of the strongest militaries in the history of mankind. And our God is going to send our king back with his angels to destroy them, to free us. Right. The people that no one cares about, that everyone ignores, that everyone vilifies, those are the people that you're going to see an alien invasion for. We're going to get into it. We're going to show you what's going on with this story today. So who I got reading? All right, copy y'all. Let's start at Esther 1, and let's start at 1.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ashurus. This is Ashurus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia.
Now guess what? Ashurus. What's everybody's favorite movie? 300. 300. Everybody like to say in the movie 300. You know, that was us right there. We was Leonidas. We was the 300. Nah, you wasn't the 300. Let me tell you who you were. You remember that man was getting carried around on that thing? Xerxes was getting carried around on that thing, and then the people started laying down as the floor, and he started stepping on them and walking down on their backs. Those were your backs. He was walking down on. That was you. And Xerxes, that's who we're talking about right now, that we're reading about. And he ruled over how many provinces?
Over 107 and 20 provinces.
127 provinces. That's what it is. All right, now let's look up here. Let me show you what that looked like. This is what he ruled over. All of this. The entire Middle East. Just to make it plain. Now, remember that. Everybody always say, once I get my money right, you know what I mean? Once I get my bread together, you know, then my life gonna be better and everybody gonna listen to me. And, you know, I'm gonna get all the respect I need once I get my money right. Well, this is a king that had his money right. He had his provinces right. He ruled over 127 of them. Keep going.
Verse 2, that in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace. Verse 3, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before them. Verse 4, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellence majesty many days, even 180 days.
Right, so he's having a glorious party for everybody, for the rich, for the people at the top, for all the princes, all his men, his house, the senators, the governors. You know what I'm saying? He's having this excellent party for them. Keep going.
Verse 5, and when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace.
Drop down to verse 9.
Verse 9, also Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belongeth to King Ahasuerus.
Belonged to Vashti?
Belongeth to King Ahasuerus.
Now, his wife, the queen, Vashti, she was also having a royal party at the same time the king was having one. So he had the men over here, he was entertaining them, she was entertaining the women. Keep going.
Verse 10. On the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Muhammad, Biztha, Harbana, Begetha, and Abigetha, Zephyr, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ashereth, the king.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11, to bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal.
Bring who? Bring Vashti. Go ahead.
To bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with a crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
What is he calling her in there to do? Huh? To lay with him? No. Go ahead. You, come here.
To show her off.
To show off. Right. He was calling her there. He's like, listen, everybody having drinks. You know what I'm saying? This is the highlight of the party. Let me show y'all my favorite part, y'all. I got all these 127 promises, but my favorite part is go get my wife. That's what he's doing right here. Now go get my beautiful wife and bring her in there. Keep going.
Verse 12. But the queen Vashti refused to come to the king's commandment.
The queen did what?
Refused to come to the king's commandment.
See, let me help you out, brother. See, you don't want to come serve the Lord because you want to get your money right first. Right. That's what it is. Your wife ain't gonna listen to you with money, without money. Right. No matter what you got going on, she gonna still disobey you out. Right. You understand? I don't care what you. It's up to her whether she gonna listen to you or not. Yep. Not you. This is a king of 127 provinces, and he can't get his wife to come here. She throwing a party in one of his palaces. He said, "Go get my wife," and she said, "No." Go ahead,
No, Salaki, sir, I believe it said his royal house. His house.
Yeah, in his house.
His house.
Yeah, she said no. Keep going.
By his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment.
15.
Verse 15. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law? Because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ashereth by the chamberlains. Verse 16. And Macam answered before the king and the princes. Mamukin answered before the king and the princes. But Vashti, the queen, hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus.
Now, what is he trying to let you know? He's saying that everybody is looking at what's going on with you, king. You're the man that everyone looks up to. And if you allow your wife to disrespect you in front of everyone, then how are we going to tell our wives what to do? Right. How are we going to tell them what to do and how they going to listen to us if you, the king, can't get your wife to listen to you? Right. Keep going.
Verse 17. For this dead of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti, the queen, to be brought in before him, but she came not.
He said, this deed that your wife has done is going to spread throughout all women in the country. Everybody's going to start doing it. That's what you see happening right now. The more you watch TV and you watch the City Girls, and the more you watch all these women on TV shaking their behind and dancing with their tails out, that makes it more plausible for your wife to say, why can't I do it? What's wrong with me dressing like that? What's wrong? That's why your daughters is arguing with you about their dress code. Their dress code, them shorts is getting higher and higher. Them shorts is getting higher and higher. Now they look like drawers. They come out the room in drawers with belt loops on, and they talking about they going to the party. Why? Because they saw it on TV.
Right.
They saw it with the people they look up to. And what they understand is, what this king and his counselors understand is, if you allow them to get away with it, if you allow her to get away with it, then it's going to spread throughout the nation. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 18. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath.
Keep going.
Verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of Persians and the Medes, it's like in the Medes, that it be not altered, the Vashti come no more before the king I.S.U.P.K, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
What is the counselor saying? She don't want to listen? Sir, you need to get another wife.
Right.
Sir, you need to go in because this is going to start a trickle down effect.
That's right.
In our house. And so, sir, if you could, for the sake of the brotherhood, for all of us, find a better one.
Right.
Now, this is not Israelite custom. This is a heathen.
Right.
This king is not an Israelite. The scripture tells us that we're not supposed to divorce.
Right.
You know what that means? If your wife's doing it, you got to stay with her.
That's right.
You can't just say, oh, no, I'm done with this. Christ said, for the hardness of your heart, Moses allowed you to divorce.
Right.
But from the beginning, it was not so.
Right.
It was never the intent. So now, you would have to stay with this woman that's like Vashti. You would have to stay with this woman that says no to you about everything in your house where you pay the bills. That's the curse you live in right now. That's what's going on. Keep going.
Verse 20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make,
Go to 22.
verse 22, for he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the written thereof, it's like writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house.
Then every man should do what?
Bear rule in his own house.
Listen, man, this is what this is about. This is about you having rulership in your own house. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's important that a woman listen to a man, especially in the times we're about to go into.
Right.
Boy. We're about to go into war right now, and you're gonna make a man. A woman that's independent right now, she's gonna stop being independent and start to be dependent.
That's right.
You're gonna start looking for somebody to be dependent on because this world is going into the toilet.
That's right.
I'm telling you. Let's go to chapter 2. We done with that verse? Okay, finish it.
And that it should be published according to the language of every people.
Go ahead, chapter 2.
Esther chapter 2 and verse 1.
Start at 2.
Verse 2. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. Verse 3. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all their fair young virgins unto Shushan, the palace, to the house of the woman.
Okay, so let me fly through this. So what happened was they said go and get more women for the king to find a better wife.
Right.
They kicked Vashti out. They got her and all her stuff had to go. Now the palace is wide open and is looking for some new body to come up in there. And so now they're making the selection on who are we going to get to replace this woman because she didn't know what she had.
Right.
She didn't care. Drop down to verse 4.
Verse 4. And let the Midian, which
verse 5.
Verse 5. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shema, the son of Kish, and Benjamin. Verse 6. Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away. Verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. And the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
This is a family member, this is a cousin of his that he raised like a daughter because her parents died when she was at such a young age. Keep going.
Verse 8. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan, the palace, to the custody of Hagar, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Hagar, keeper of the woman. Verse 9. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house.
Now, this is a heathen. This is not even an Israelite. When he was going to pick this woman, you know what the first thing he did?
Look at her beauty.
He looked at her beauty, and then what did he do after that? Did he marry her?
Yeah.
He did?
He quartered her better for 6 months.
He made her go into purification for 6 months. That's baths and cleaning and just soaking. And this woman is a virgin. She hasn't even been touched. But he's still cleaning her up for 6 months just to get, I don't want to say that, just to make sure everything is right. This is what he did. He didn't touch her. He didn't say, oh, I like her, she looked good, I'm the king, I'm going to do my thing. No, he gave her time. And that's a problem with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We're so fast and so quick to give the best thing that we have to anybody that smiles at you. Somebody look at you and say, man, that's some nice shoes. For real? You want my phone number? I can take you back over here. Like, what? Damn. Is that easy? Like, we gotta get more sustenance to who we are. And not being so willing to give the best thing that you got, the most sacred thing that you got. It's called your privates for a reason. It's not your publics. It's not for everybody. It's private. And that's even the heathen, a filthy man from another nation knows how sacred marriage is. Keep going.
And he prepared her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women.
What verse you at?
Yeah.
Drop down to 12.
Okay.
I want y'all to down here? Okay. Go ahead, drop down to 12.
Verse 12. Now when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus after that, she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women.
A year. He didn't touch her for a year. He watched her. He gave her time to learn, to grow, to clean, to purify for a year. He didn't touch her. Keep going.
For so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women.
Drop down to verse 17.
Verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
Absolutely. So now Esther, our sister, became the queen of the land of our captivity. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a few presidents ago when our sister was the queen of one of the most powerful countries on the face of this earth. whose name is Michelle Obama. Michelle is your sister. And she was sitting in the seat of power under the king. But she did not have the mind of Esther. And we're going to show you why. Because one thing that Esther has is loyalty to her people. And that's the problem with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You first don't even know who you are. So secondly, you don't know who your people are. So you can't be loyal to a people you don't know. You don't know who you are, where you from, you don't know what to think. You just lost. So you just go with the wind. And that's what Michelle Obama did. Michelle just went wherever her husband told her to go and did whatever it was to do because he didn't have nothing to be connected to. She didn't have nothing to be connected to. So like, go ahead, drop down to verse 19.
Verse 19. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Verse 20. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her.
So nobody knows she's an Israelite. She's just a woman to them. She hasn't shown, and she ain't walking around flaunting that she's the queen. She's not walking around with her jewelry on, showing everybody. You want to know why you're getting robbed? You get robbed every 3 weeks. Because you post it on social media every time you buy something new. That's what's happening. You come in, you get on social media like, look at this chain, these grills, I got the J's, I got, you know what I'm saying? Look at, I'm fresh, and I'm gonna be out the country for the next 6 weeks. Oh, okay, out the country for 6 weeks. Okay. You come back, your house is ran through, and you want to know why would somebody do this to me? Because we broke out here, we hurting, and you shining. So it ain't gonna hurt you if I take these J's and these shoes, these pants from you. You still got the tags on. You know what I'm saying? You fit this low with a bad eating about you. Keep going.
For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when
She did what?
Did the commandment of Mordecai.
Wait, she's a queen. She's obeying her uncle cousin that raised her.
Uncle cousin?
Yeah, we got uncle cousins. You got some cousins. You got cousins that's old,
Right.
but you don't call them cousins because they so old, so you call them your auntie or your uncle.
Come on, girl.
That's the same thing.
That's it.
She was raised by her uncle cousin, and she's the queen.
Right.
And that crown on her head don't mean nothing compared to what her uncle say.
That's right.
She's the power of a province. She's the second highest ranked person in 127 provinces. And she's listening to her uncle who is a servant at the gate of the palace.
Right.
That's who she takes orders from. Read that verse again.
For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai.
She did the commandment of the king.
Of Mordecai.
She did the commandment of her uncle. Right. Keep going.
Like as when she was brought up with him.
Like as what?
When she was brought up with him.
Like she did since she's a little girl. See, that's the problem. Our women don't respect their men.
Right.
They don't respect their uncle cousins.
Right.
They don't respect their brothers, their fathers. Why? Because we so destroyed. We so destroyed as a nation. Your father left you when you was young, so now you don't want to hear nothing from a man ever.
Right.
You don't want to respect a man. You understand? We gotta break the curse from what happened to us in the past and stop using it as the excuse to be who we are today and why we're destroyed today.
That's right.
Go ahead.
If I could, so what you're saying was Mordecai did not abuse Esther as a young girl.
Give him a hand. That's another reason she was able to respect him. Because he didn't abuse her when she was a young lady. Listen, brothers, you gotta control your lust. That's the problem. Right. Women don't respect you because they know how full of lust you are. Right. How filthy you are. And now you want somebody to respect you. You have to be someone that they should respect. And that's what we're raising up in here.
Right.
We're cleaning up the slate in here. We're raising young men and women, old men and old women, to be who the Lord wanted us to be from the beginning.
That's right.
And that was a people that had integrity. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigithan and Tessera, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king Asher.
So it's some people in this king's palace, in this king's nation, that's trying to unalive this king. That's what they want to do. They're plotting to unalive this king. Keep going.
Verse 22. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther, the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
Keep going.
Verse 23. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree.
What happened?
They were both hanged on a tree.
These people tried to unalive the king. Mordecai told the queen. It was found out. They were unalive.
Right.
That's what happened. You know what? Mordecai, even though he was an Israelite, he stood on his principles.
That's right.
Even though this was the heathen he was working for, he stood on business. And his business was he was shamarring the gates.
Right.
And he don't care who you was. You're not messing with the king. He was going to do his job. Keep going.
And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
And when this happened, it was logged down in the book of the Chronicles for the king. Like, this is what was written. Mordecai reported that these two men were trying to kill the king, and these two men were dealt with. That was written in the King's Chronicle. All right? Chapter 3, let's go. I want y'all, let me get you to read. The what? Copy, y'all.
All right, well,
We're going to start at verse 1 of chapter 3.
Esther chapter 3, verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Well, you know, every kingdom, you got some Edomite that comes in and gets into the right hand of the father, gets to sit on the right hand of the king. And that's what you're seeing happening right now.
Right.
Some Edomite becomes the right hand to the king.
Right.
He is a power structure and force. And when an Edomite gets in charge, he lets you know he's in charge.
Right.
He ain't humble about being in control.
Yeah, right.
He's very boisterous about it. Keep reading.
Verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gates bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not.
Mordecai did what?
Bowed not,
Go ahead.
nor did him reverence.
Now, see, let me tell you why this is so spiritual to me. Because about 2 weeks ago, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, matter of fact, the dying one, you got my video? Play this video. Started from here. Let me show you why this is so spiritual. See, when you don't know who you are, then you become afraid of Hammond.
Right.
You're afraid of
the shit start getting knocked down. And we wondering why. That Turner and the rest of them, what makes you think they won't, homie? I don't think y'all be thinking about our people. What does that do for who, bro?
Started from the beginning.
Right? Because, see, I think for some reason, I don't know about y'all reason, that y'all take these white folks for being some punks. That y'all take running these programs, bro. that these niggas ain't up there armed legally and up here.
You are now watching Clubhouse Unlocked.
I'm gonna be real,
Oh,
bro.
let me tell you what's going
Y'all
on.
gonna
This
keep
is
on. You
a
don't
manager.
kiss your
A
booty.
manager.
You like
Kiss the boot.
And he is, first off, what's happening is this manager is afraid and saying that the I.S.U.P.K is going to make a race war start because we get boot kisses.
Right.
And he said, y'all don't believe that these white people really out here training.
Right.
And they really crazy. And they'll really do something to y'all. Because we get boot kisses.
Right.
See, if he knew his culture, he would have done what Mordecai did.
That's right.
See, he did what everybody else did.
Right.
That wasn't Mordecai. They all bowed down.
Right.
But what Mordecai said, read that again.
Come. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
See, let me tell you something. We not bowing down like our fathers did.
Right.
But you know what we will do? We will make them bow down.
That's right.
We won't show them reverence, but they will show us reverence.
That's right.
And that's what Mordecai did. Mordecai was like, I'm not bowing before you.
Yeah.
You are a devil.
That's right.
And I'm a prince of the power. Why in the hell would I do that? And that's what we put back in our nation. We're putting back the integrity into our kids so that our children will never bow to another nation.
That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 3. Then the king's servants,
I'm
which
putting on the video. Yeah, I'm done with it.
Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gates, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Verse 4. Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters.
Salakia, hey, y'all start putting some more chairs out for them sisters. And if need be, now we got some more chairs. They in here somewhere. And if need be, let that garage door up and go into the parking lot. Just keep going with it. Keep going.
Come.
And whoever truck that is, you could just move that truck and you just put chairs all the way up in there. The that one, that's your truck out there. All right, let's go.
Verse 4. Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew. Verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
He was what?
Full of wrath.
He was full of wrath. Why? Because your oppressor wants you to bow to him. Right. Give me that in Isaiah. Somebody else give me Isaiah 51:23 real quick. This is what you got to know. Your oppressor, when he wants you to bow to him, when he wants you to reverence him and respect him, it's not to you. It's to your soul.
Right.
That's who it's for. It's to break your spirit. To break your soul. Go ahead, read what you got. 51:23.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 23. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground.
That is what you do every time you sip under another nation. Every time you marry another nation. Every time you go into trying to love them and turn it against your own people, you bow your soul to them. That's what you do. And Mordecai said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I will never do it because I'm a Jew.
Right.
Keep going.
Isaiah?
No, I will, yeah.
Esther chapter 3, verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shewed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus.
Now, how many Jews didn't bow down?
Just one.
Just one. How many Jews did he want to kill?
All of them.
Everybody. Why? Because they can't have one of you with a backbone. They can't have one of you. What happened to the quarterback? Kaepernick. What happened to him? Hey, he still don't have a job.
Right.
Still to this day, because one of you couldn't take a knee. They had to teach a lesson that one of you can't be strong against me.
Right.
Go ahead, Al.
Like it sounds like what happened in 9/11.
Go ahead, break it down.
What? 3,000 Americans were unalive.
Right.
And 3 million Afghans were unalive.
Right. Because you're not going to be able to touch they people. But they are free to do whatever they want and willing to do whatever they want to do to you when they want to.
That's right.
There's a new day coming. And there's a new black and Hispanic being raised up.
Right. That's right.
Keep going.
That's right.
Even the people of Mordecai, verse 7. In the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast poor, that is the lot before Haman, from day to day and from month to month to the 12th month, that is the month of Adar.
You know what they did? They was casting lots from day to day to figure out when they was going to get rid of all you Jews. That's what they was doing. They was casting lots on what day they wanted to get rid of you. They said, you know what? We're going to get rid of them next year. So now he's going to make his presentation. Go ahead.
If I could, it was 5 years later, sir.
5 years later, he was still mad. What did he say? From day to day, from month to month, this vexed him so much that he couldn't live with this one black man not bowing to him.
Right.
He couldn't live his life. He couldn't be great. For 5 years. Keep going.
Verse 8. And Haman said unto the king Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither kept they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
Keep going.
Verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasury.
Now, this is what he said. He said, I'm going to put money on their head, on the whole nation. He said 10,000 talents. Somebody look up how much is a talent.
$348,000. Hey.
One talent is $348,000. So now, how much did he say he wanted to put on our head? What was it again?
He said 10,000 talents.
10,000 talents. Somebody do that. Do the math.
348 billion.
348 billion. That 348 billion in the BC is a quadrillion dollars today. That's what it. He put money on your head, and he did it. He didn't do it like Planned Parenthood.
Right.
He didn't do it like the crack epidemic. He did it like we're gonna line them up and we're gonna unalive all of them one by one.
Right.
Why? Because one of you. Now that is the stress Mordecai had on his head.
Right.
Now WAC 100 is scared over a book is hypothetically. Mordecai really had a hit out on the whole nation because he didn't bow down.
That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 10. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy.
Go ahead, keep going.
Come. Verse 11. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemed good to thee. Verse 12. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month. And there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors, that they were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province according to the written thereof, and to every people after their language, in the name of King Ahasuerus, was it written and sealed with the king's ring.
Come on now, this is a national decree
Right.
going forth about you and your people and the demolition of your people
Right, yeah.
because one man decided not to be a slave. That's what you live under right now. Now, this is the modern day, that what we would call Iraq today.
Right.
That's where this is being taking place in. See, that's why when we say all nations have to go into captivity, all nations have to go into captivity.
That's right,
because we have been in captivity under all nations.
Right.
We were enslaved in Iraq.
That's right.
We were enslaved in Egypt.
Right.
We was under the Assyrians.
Right.
We was in there under the Babylonians and the Greeks. That's what with the Persians and the Medes. This is the Persians and the Medes right here.
That's right, Captain.
That's where we at. We have been slaves to everybody.
Right.
I know everybody heard that saying, I'm gonna work you like a Hebrew slave.
Right.
That's you.
Right.
You're the Hebrew slave that's been worked and nobody respects and nobody loves.
Right.
And God sent the best one of us to die on the cross for our sins.
Right.
And now you want to give that love that God has for us to everybody? No, it don't work like that. That's such an evil thing. It's evil. It's evil if I take my rent money to pay your bill and then you go and give it to your neighbor. Like I don't love your neighbor.
Right.
I want you to have a place to stay.
Right.
The Lord wants you to have an empire, a kingdom, something that you inherit, and you say, but what about everybody?
Right.
What about we? We all was created.
Yeah.
God made us all.
Yeah.
God said, I made everybody, and I love you.
That's right.
You just better be glad He chose you to love.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Christ said, let the children first be fed.
Let the children be fed first.
That's right.
Did He say that the other people wasn't going to eat? No. He just said we was going to eat first.
That's right.
You mad to be front of the line? Let's see how mad you are when we line up and go get this food tonight. Let's see. Keep going. What we at 13? You starting at 13? Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the...
See, let me say this. People always say this all the time. You serve a God that unalive women and children? You serve a God that allows this to happen? Ain't that what you do to us?
Right.
Don't you unalive our women and children?
Right.
And the Lord said, He told us not to take vengeance.
Right.
So you do all of this to us. And then the Lord said, don't touch them.
Right.
Because what? Because vengeance is mine.
That's right.
I will repay.
That's right.
You better be glad we serve a God that tells us not to get vengeance on you.
Right. That's right.
But you need to thank Him.
That's right.
You need to thank the God that we serve, because we don't serve the God that you serve. The Christian God, they not turning the other cheek.
Right.
The only people that's told to turn the other cheek is you. 9/11, ain't this a Christian country?
Right.
What did they do for 9/11? Did they turn the other cheek? No. They killed 3 million people from another country, and the people didn't even do it.
Right.
It was done. It was an inside job.
That's great.
Oh yeah.
That was verse 13.
13. We can skip. Let's go to chapter 4.
Chapter.
I want to get to this. Go ahead.
Esther chapter 4 from the top. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and a bitter cry. Verse 2. And came even before the king's gate.
Salaki. Hey, get them young men in here. Get them young men in here and get them to sit down. Just get all you young men in here, y'all sit down. You officers is good. But all you young men, troopers, all that, you come sit down. Don't get saturated. All right, let's go.
Okay. Verse 2. And came even before the king's gate, and none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. Verse 3. And in every province, whatsoever the king's commandment was, and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
Now, let me tell you how spiritual this is. Everybody knows that Haman wants to unalive the whole nation because of what one person did.
Right.
And you know what? You know what their solution was? Their solution was praying to the Lord. You know what our solution would be if it was us today?
Marching and protesting or something like that?
Nah. We just seen the solution.
Right.
Up here, what he said.
Right.
If y'all keep doing all that boot kissing and stuff, y'all making them kiss boots. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have the brothers from the hood come out there, and they gonna come out there and make y'all feel it. Go ahead.
Right. He say, I'm gonna go talk with the biker gang and have the biker gang come over there and run down on y'all and see if you like.
Our solution is, listen, Mr. White Man, you got a problem with him? We'll take care of him.
Right.
What happened? The Romans didn't like Christ. What did the Pharisees and Sadducees say? No sweat.
Right.
We'll get rid of them.
Right.
We will always get rid of the one that's trying to stand up for righteousness. That's what we do.
Right.
We don't say we're going to stand with our brother. As we read this, they decided to stand with their brother. They just mourned and prayed to God to help them.
Right.
Black people would have turned on Mordecai.
Right.
Mordecai would have been, he'd have been hung on that gate.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 4. So Esther's maids and chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai, and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. Verse 5. Then called Esther for Hathach, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it is, to know what it was and why it was. So verse 6. So Hathach came forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. Verse 7. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasurers for the Jews to destroy them. Verse 8. Also he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given to Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her.
He was trying to make it real.
Right.
He wanted her to see what they was really trying to do to the whole nation. Keep going.
And to charge her that she should go into the king's gate to make supplication unto him, and to make request before him for her people.
Keep going.
Verse 9. And Hathach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Verse 10. Again, Esther spake unto Hathach, and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. Verse 11. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days.
So this is the rule. The rule is, if the king don't call for you, you can't come see him. You walk in the door, if you don't hold up the scepter, then you are about to be alive. And she knew, and everybody knew, that if she would have just tried to go in there and present something to the king without this being done, without an appointment, that she was going to be unalive. Right. Keep going.
Verse 12. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. Verse 13. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther. Think not with thyself.
Say it again.
Think not with thyself.
One more time.
Think not with thyself.
This is something that Black Spanish native Indians need to understand, especially our women. Black are some of the most highly educated women on the face of this earth.
That's right.
The most hard-working women on the face of the earth. Give yourselves a hand. Black women, y'all clap for the black women. You got a doctorate, a PhD, you know what I'm saying, a master's, a bachelor's. You got all these degrees and all this power behind your name. You run businesses. You do all of that. Read that again.
Think not with thyself.
Don't just think about yourself.
Right.
Don't be selfish in the time that you're in right now. Because this is not just about you. This is not all about you and your feelings and your accolades.
Right.
Keep going.
Come. Think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews.
Listen, don't think that you're safe just because you're the queen, of this land. Because you still a nigga.
Real talk.
That's what all of us need to remember.
Right.
No matter how many degrees you got, you can be blackballed easily. No matter how famous you are, they can just cut you off with a tweet. They can just say, you know what, we don't like her no more, and you're done. The Beehive can cut you off. You can talk against Beyonce, and you will never be able to post another post in your life. You'll never be able to sell it. You'll never be able to braid another hair.
Right.
Say something about Beyonce if you want to. Now they got the hoochie, what's that called? Hoochie babies. See, I ain't know about that. I'm on it.
What?
The hoochie baby. A hoochie baby is little Sexy Red's minions. Because Sexy Red is a hoochie mama. So now everybody that loves Sexy Red, they call hoochie babies. We in the last days, brother.
Yeah, that's it.
We at the end. This about to be the end right now. When we out here calling each other hoochie babies and hoochie mamas, come on now. Where's the shit? Lord, where's the chariots?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Verse 14. For if thou art
15.
Come. Verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Akim. Hey, y'all come in and shut the garage. Y'all come in. Everybody just come in and shut the garage. You ain't on Shamar. Everybody come in. Oh, it's gonna shut. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna push everybody forward. We're gonna do all the brotherhood later. Right now, this is the Feast of Purim. If this is your first Feast of Purim, raise your hand. Hey, give him a hand. Give him a hand. Okay, let's push it on me. Let's get everybody in here. This is very important for our children and our elderly to learn. I mean, you know why? Because a lot of you, Captain Kahan made a post last night that was nuclear. Did y'all see that post Captain Kahan made last night? Captain Kahan made a post that said, a lot of you didn't come in the truth because of what you're going to do. Right. You came in the truth because of what your children is going to do. And that's what you need to understand. These kids need to be in here putting this in their soul. That's right. The same way when they hear all I need for Christmas is you, they need to understand who Esther is. They need to understand who Mordecai is. All right, let them know where we at.
Verse 14
What chapter?
of Salaki. You said drop down to 15. Esther chapter 4, verse 15.
Y'all got y'all schools with y'all. Esther chapter 4, verses 15. All right, let's go.
Esther chapter 4, verse 15. And it reads, Then Esther bade them, return Mordecai this answer. Verse 16. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan.
This is the answer that the queen gave her uncle. She didn't say, I'm the queen and I don't care about what's going on in, out there in the peasant world. I'm the queen and there's nothing that I can do. I'm gonna talk to my people and I'm gonna see what I can do. That's what your people do right now.
Right.
You go into a little problem, they be like, let me call around, let me see what I can do. And they the head of HR. They the head of HR, but they talking about let me see how I can help you. No, that ain't what Esther did. Esther said, gather everybody together. Keep going.
All the Jews that are present in Shushan,
And
fast ye for me.
Do what?
And fast ye for me.
Go ahead.
And neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish.
If I do what?
If I perish, I perish.
What is she saying? Say it louder. That's what she said. Right. She said, well, y'all pray for me. All right. Well, everybody get ready to pray for me because I'm about to go in here and talk to the king for everybody. And if I die, I die. Now, listen. You scared to lose. If you lose your job, your world is over. She didn't say if I lose the crown, I lose the crown. She didn't say if I get kicked out the palace, I get kicked out the palace. She said, if I die, I die. That's a different type of loyalty. That's a different type of love. And that's the love and loyalty that we need right now in this time. Right. Because we're in the same type of captivity right now that she was in. See, a lot of us, we try to water it down like, well, it was different back then. It was worse back then. Believe that. They ain't had no freedom of speech. Right. They was getting stoned. They was getting, they was getting thrown in lions' dens and all kind of stuff. How many of you got a cousin that got thrown in the lion's den? Yeah. Yeah, it's a little different. That electric chair and that lion's den is two different types of corporal punishment. Which one would you want, the electric chair or the lion's den? Thank you. Yeah, that electric chair gonna get it done quick. You're gonna feel every bite and every tap that lion gonna give you. You're gonna feel that fiery furnace a little different than that electric chair. This sister said, listen, if I die, I die. Right. Now, was this for her own selfish gain? No, this is for everybody else. She was in the safe house. She was chilling in the palace. She was like, nah, y'all pray for me. Right. Let's go to chapter 5.
Chapter 5 from the top. Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house, over against the gate of the house. Verse 2. And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen standing in the court, that he obtained favor in his sight. And she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter.
Let me tell you, because she had faith, the Lord was with her. She went in there. It wasn't even a thought about not letting Esther come up there. It wasn't even what is she doing? What? Does she have an appointment? None of that was in his mind. He's like, oh, man, Esther. Yeah, come on, baby. What you want? Keep going. Drop down to verse 6. Let me get through this fast.
Okay, verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Verse 7. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, verse 8, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet. Then I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king hath said. Verse 9. Then went Haman forth that day joyful, and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai.
Hey, man, somebody, let's clap it up for Mordecai. Mordecai ain't bowed for Haman in 5 years. Mordecai is not pledging to the allegiance. He's not singing the national anthem. Everybody in the stadium is standing up, and Mordecai is sitting down. And every time he sees Mordecai not show him reverence, it makes him hate him even more. And that's what we do every day. Yeah. Do you know how much courage our children have?
Who got SHALAM?
Who got SHALAM? Do you know how much courage our children have when our babies don't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? From kindergarten, from pre-K, they sit in the school and they don't stand. Why? Because they don't stand and pledge themselves to a country that killed their family.
Right.
They grow up and they become seniors in high school where all of the Army recruiters on campus, right, all the Army vets that was in the military, right, as teachers, they're on campus and they standing up in the pep rally. And your son is sitting, your daughter is sitting down in the school in front of the entire school. Go ahead, Officer Malakia.
Yeah, Officer Malakia.
You on the mic.
It's Malakia, sir, if I could. The colonel of ROTC at my school last year, like my worst enemy. During the morning at the morning announcement, we did the pledge of allegiance. He looked me dead in the eye. I could tell he was mad.
He looked you dead in the eye. He tried to pump you into standing up.
Yeah.
Did you stand up?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Hurry up, SHALAM! Listen, now, give him my hand, man. That right there, that's what the Bible teaches. That's what Mordecai did. That's what Mordecai did, now. That's important to put into your baby. Don't fear them. Fear the God that we serve, not the people. Don't fear the creature, fear the Creator. And the Lord told us we don't bother nobody. Now the Lord is our Father. Right. If your Father tells you not to do it, you don't do it. Right. Or what comes with you doing it? Well, now you kiss boots for a living. You bow your soul to another nation for a living. Right. You can't even sit down for the national anthem side if your knees was hurt. That's right. You just like, no, I'm gonna sit this one out. They're gonna look at you like, what's wrong with you? Don't you respect them? Don't you respect this country? Right. Don't you love us? We've given more blood for this country than any other nation. That's right. Right. And no one else is called illegal immigrants like you are. God, no. No one else is vilified for being who you are, like you. Right. And you've done the most. Now, we're going to be like Mordecai. Go ahead.
If I can add, sir, and the rest of Esther, right here, verse 13, she said Esther went back to the crib and she prayed. She put ashes and dung on her hair and pulled her hair out. You know what I mean? When she prayed for the time, she asked for a speech or a good speech when she go to see the king or the lion. She said when she go to see the lion or the beast. And if I could give Esther her just due, I mean, she never sinned. She didn't eat the king's meat and she was in the right. So she could pray. And when she prayed, the Lord was with her.
Give her a hand. The queen put dawn and ashes in her hair to pray for the peasants. Michelle Obama would never.
Good night.
She would never.
Yeah.
She would never put an ash from a cigarette in her hair for you. She put boo-boo and ashes and dirt in her hair to pray for the people nobody cares about.
Right.
That's what was in Esther. And that's what needs to be in you. And what needs to be in the man is the spirit that Mordecai got.
That's right.
You got to be willing to stand up in the midst of adversity at the king's gate. Where we at? Verse what?
Verse 10 now.
And let me say something about a white man. Let me say another thing about something that you should grab from this sister. The way this sister wielded her sword, it wasn't with neck rolls and eye rolls.
Yeah.
She didn't go in there snapping and saying, yeah, first of all, I ain't seen you in 6 months.
Right.
Second of all, you should just do what I told you because I'm the queen. She didn't do none of that.
Right.
She said, if it would please you, my lord, I just would like to cook y'all a dinner.
Right.
She used her femininity to do what she was doing.
Right.
You women sometimes just, we're going to get to it.
Come on.
Keep reading. Keep reading. Where we at?
Verse 10.
Go read it.
Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife.
Drop down to 13.
Verse 13. Yet all this availed me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. Verse 14.
Listen, he went home and started telling his wife, he was like, man, I had a good day at work today, man. What happened? Man, the queen said she want to have a bacon with me. She said we're going to have a dinner, me, her, and the king. And all of that, my day was still bad because that nigga was standing at this gate and he ain't bowed. The queen said she want to have a dinner with me. The king said he want to have a dinner with me, but that nigga wouldn't bow. That's your oppressor right now. Right now. A bad day to him is you getting a raise. A bad day to him is you smiling. You was at work doing something you enjoyed yourself.
Right.
And what are y'all over there laughing about?
Damn.
Y'all ain't working hard enough?
Right.
Tax master. You in Egypt again with ships. Keep going.
Verse 14. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high.
How many cubits?
50 cubits high.
All right, let's look that up. Somebody look up how high is 50 cubits. What is that? It's about 7 stories, huh?
Right.
Huh?
Cubit will be from your fingertips to your elbow.
Okay, look up 50 cubits high. Google that. Google will tell you. Keep reading on y'all.
Come. 50 cubits high. And tomorrow speak unto the king that Mordecai be hanged thereon.
Listen, this is white people meeting in their house for dinner. They eating stale chicken with no seasoning on it. They probably didn't wash it. Probably was still bleeding. And they was talking about what they was, what he should do. And he said, you should make some gallows for this Mordecai and his people. What you got, Yabaka?
75 feet.
75 feet. Somebody look up, what's up? 6 stories.
Right.
This is what these oppressors was at the house talking about. They said, let's make a 6-story gallows to hang them on. There you go. There you go, the love right there. They want to hang you 6 stories high because you don't want to worship them. Keep going.
Unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet, and the king pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
Guess what? He went in and he said, we need to make some gallows. I found out what to do about them people. He said, go ahead and get it done. Sure. Do it. So the gallows is being made. Haman got the gallows made. chapter 6, let's go.
Esther chapter 6 from the top. On that night could not the king sleep, and the command to bring the book of records of the Chronicles, and they were read before the king.
So now, we remember back in chapter 2, Mordecai got, he was doing such a good job on Shema. These two men was trying to unalive the king, and Mordecai did his job, and those men got hung. Right. Because Mordecai did such a great job. And the king was like, man, I can't sleep tonight. He said, hey man, y'all come read to me some records, because I feel like I may be forgetting something. Right. Maybe something, maybe I need to, refresh my memory about something. Go ahead.
Verse 2, and it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. Verse 3, and the king said, what honor and dignity thou been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him.
He said, what did we ever do to that brother that saved my life? Right. And they checked the records. They said, like, nothing. We never paid him nothing. We never did nothing to him. Right. Go ahead. Because he was a slave. Because he was a nobody. God. He was like, right. No, we didn't pay him, sir. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was.
Don't worry about that. Drop to verse 6.
Verse 6. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor?
So now the king just got through reading the Chronicles talking about Mordecai. Right. Haman comes in to the conversation. The king is like, yeah, man, I want to honor somebody. What should I do? Right. Haman being the devil the Bible speaks of, right. Who does he think the king want to honor? Yeah. He think, the king finally see my value. Today is my day. Read that part again. So what? So Haman came in and what?
So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor?
Keep going.
Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to himself?
He's like, who else in 127 provinces could the king be thinking about other than me? I know it's millions of people that he ruled over, but the only person on his mind is me, because I'm the greatest man in all of the empires. That's the pride of your own person. It's this new movie coming out I seen where this man had an air fryer in the store, and he was walking out of the store, and his white lady said, you can't steal that air fryer. And he was like, I'm not trying to steal it. I'm trying to return it. But other people were looting. Right. And she was like, no, it's the last thing I do. I'm going to take this. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to get you over my dead body. You're not going to take this air fryer. Right. So now he leaves the store and he's sitting in traffic. Right. She's coming up the street on her rolling wheelchair. Right. In the traffic. Right. He sees her in the mirror. He's in a passenger seat. He said, hey man, I'm gonna just walk. He opens the door. She stabs at him with the knife. Right. He's like, oh damn. He shuts the door. He runs. That's right. He goes into an alley. He's looking at the gate like, man, I'm not gonna jump this gate. Then he hit. Yeah. He looked up the street. She cut him at the street. He jumped the gate. She's like, what you gonna do? I done jumped the gate now. He goes back around, goes around. Right. He's walking on the railroad, walking home. All he hears is, right. This white lady could not let him be because she is the queen of heaven. This is her throne. Right. This is her kingdom. Right. That's how your oppressor feels. Your oppressor feels like he can't allow you to get away with nothing. Right. You can't catch a break. People from Afghanistan, we've been fighting them for 20 years. They came over here on Air Force One. Right. Air Force One. Who else? Who else got a pass? Who else came over here and got some love? Ukrainian came over here and got love. Who else? They got Social Security. They got Airbnbs. They sleeping in Airbnbs right now.
Right.
Getting all the food stamps.
Right.
God damn, they getting the food stamps. They get all the food stamps. And then you come out there and they like, oh, what are you?
Right.
Look at you. You just trying to get a free handout.
You get ready for what?
You just, you know. They hate you out. And that hatred that they have for you will never, ever leave. Now, I just want you to understand that. There is no love, there is nothing that you can do, there is no degree that you can get that will ever make them accept you as one of them.
That's right.
When they said, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, they were never thinking about you.
Right.
Because when it was written in 1776, where were you? In the field. Just remember that. See, you got to know the context of when they were writing and what they were thinking, not what you think now.
Right.
And that's how people read the Bible. Now this is a melting pot. You live in America and you think God is love and God wants all us to unify, but it wasn't written in 2024. It was written in a time where this book is only for these people. Keep going.
Verse 7. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighted to honor. Verse 8. Let the royal apparel be brought, which the king used to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head.
Haman is like, listen, why don't you let this man that you trying to reward, let him ride on your horse, right? Let him wear some of the king's clothes, let him, let him stunt. Since, there's somebody you really mess with, king, listen, I know what to do. Keep going.
Verse 9. And let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes.
Oh my God. He said, listen, and let it be done so everybody can see it from one of your most highest ranked officers.
Right.
Let one of your most highest ranked officers bring it to him, clothe him, and then let him walk through the streets so everybody can see.
Right.
Let him be paraded in front of in front of everybody. Keep going.
That they may array the man withal, whom the king delighted to honor, and bring him on the horseback through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor.
Right.
Verse 10. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel.
Stop. This right here, I need you to understand that this is what the Bible is talking about when the Lord tells you not to take on your own vengeance. The Lord said He's gonna make your enemy your what?
Footstool.
Footstool. Watch this footstool the Lord just formed right here. Read that.
Verse 10. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew.
Do it to who?
To Mordecai the Jew.
What did the king tell Haman to do to Mordecai?
Raise him up.
Give him the oil. He said, go to Mordecai's house with the king's horse, give him the king's garment, put one of the king's crowns on his head, because you one of my highest rank officials. Right. So you do it. This is perfect. Go ahead.
If this was a movie, this is the climax.
Yes. And this is what you are about to experience right now.
Right.
What you're about to experience right now, the Bible says that the wealth of the wicked is stored for the righteous. That's right. All of these people is getting wealthy and rich, and it's all stored up for you. None of it is going to matter because it's all going to be given to you. Keep going.
And do even so to Mordecai the Jew that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of you that thou hast spoken.
Keep going.
Verse 11. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse and arrayed Mordecai and brought him on a horseback through the street of the city.
Stop. Do y'all understand what's happening right now? This man that he's been hating for all these years, he is walking him through the street, holding the straps of the horses for him.
Right.
That is so beautiful.
Right.
Because that's what's about to happen. The Bible says that the Gentiles are going to be holding the skirts of the Jews. They're going to be coming through the gates saying, our fathers have inherited lies.
Right.
They're going to look and say, I was wrong all along. We thought we were the Jews.
Right.
My daddy told me I was a Jew because of my mother, but I'm sorry. But look, I went down to Peru and I found some of the lost tribes.
Right.
And they down there, and I'm bringing them to let them know that listen, you are the people of God.
Right.
I went down to Mexico and I let them know that they're the people of God, and I want to bring them and say that I'm a good white man. Please listen. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, Cap.
I didn't know any better. This is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I didn't know any better. And we want to do it bigly.
Right.
Go ahead,
And so like you, Cap, I could. What's so heavy too is, like you brought out about wax, all you got to do is endure the pressure. Like Mordecai had that pressure on him with the bread on his head, but then you make it to the other side and he getting the reward for staying strong.
Give it up for my boy. Let me tell you why that's so important. Because as soon as the pressure hits you, that's when you fold.
Right.
And you, oh, the Lord ain't with this idea. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. The Lord ain't with me. It's hot. No, the scripture says that you can tell what type of material you are by how much heat you can handle. Are you gonna turn into a diamond? Or are you gonna be a rock?
Right.
Fire purifies gold.
Right.
We're gonna find out if you're gold or not. We're just, you were found in the mud, but are you a precious stone out of the mud? Or you just belong in the mud? Because from dust thou art, dust you will return. And if you are dust, you're gonna go back to it, no matter how high we elevate you. No matter how we take you out of the dirt, if you're supposed to be dirt, you're gonna go back to it. Keep going.
Come. And proclaim before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house mourning and having his head covered. Verse 13. And Haman told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends, everything that had befallen him.
I bet you did tell him that. You thought he had a bad day yesterday.
Right.
This is a bad day.
Right.
He like, remember that thing I was telling y'all about yesterday? Tell me why I had to go walking through the streets and put a garment on him and let him ride the king's horse. Keep going.
And Haman told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends, everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh, his wife, unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shall surely fall before him.
Read that again now.
Come. If Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him.
Stop. What did these white people know about the Israelites? Say it in the mic.
Come. If the God of Israel is with you, then all heathens or all our enemies are going to lose.
If God is for you, who can be against you? That's what they know. The problem is you don't know that you're the people that if God is on your side, nobody can fight against you. You think all you got to do is believe in God going to be on your side. The Lord is for you. Who's going to fight against you? You ain't got to be afraid of nothing. You ain't got to be afraid of losing no job. You ain't got to be afraid of losing no family members. You have to be afraid of losing anything. How many of you lost family members when you came to the truth? How many of you have family members now since you've been in the truth? I gained a whole nother family. See, the family that I was born to, I didn't choose. Right. I was born to them. I came out and selected a family in here. And I'm happy with my selection. Right. Christ told his disciples the same thing. If you're not afraid to, somebody give me that scripture before I move forward. Then we're going to go to chapter 7. We done with we started at 13? Yeah, we good at 13, chapter 6. You was going to 14? Lies, sir. You read 13. I read 13. All right, we're going to go to chapter 7. We're going to start at verse 1. Somebody got my scripture?
Come on, Matthew.
Yeah, father, mother. We get that real quick. Because a lot of people think that when you come into the truth and, you know, your friends and family turn against you, that's demonic. Right. You know, if it was God, God wouldn't be about separating. It wouldn't be about us not being unified. Right. He wants the family to be together. That's why you got to come to Christmas and open these Christmas gifts. You got to eat the apple out the ass of the pigs for Thanksgiving. Oh wow! Because it's for family. Read the scripture. I want a man at variance.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 30. I think it's 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, right, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
This is what Christ said. Christ said, I didn't come to bring you together. I came to set a man at variance. What is variance? When you walk into a grocery store, they say the prices may vary. Right. What does that mean? The prices are different. That's right. You're not gonna get this Arizona for the same price as these jumbo cables. Right. The prices may vary. Well, I may set you at difference against who?
Against a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
You know what he's saying? The Lord is saying that you're going to start to serve me, and your father and your mother and your mother-in-law and your daughter-in-law, you're going to all be at difference. You're going to all be at war with each other. Keep going.
Verse 36, and a man's foes,
a man's friends,
a man's foes,
a man's loved ones,
a man's foes,
a man's enemies,
a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Your family gonna start hating you because you serve Christ. Right. That's being in the truth. Right. And that's the fire that you're gonna get in, and we're gonna find out whether you dirt or gold. All right, finish that up. All right, Esther chapter 7, verse 1. So the king of Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. Verse 2. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom. Verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king. No, you owe me this because I'm the queen. Right. If I have found favor in thy sight. See how soft she was? Right. Excuse me, sir. If I found favor in thy sight. Whatever she about to say after that, she got it. Right. Especially with me. If I found favor in thy sight, whatever you want, mama. Yeah, that's yours. Let's take it. Keep going. Then
If I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request.
Come on now. Come on now. Now he's like, yo, life, what are you talking about? Why are you talking about your life? We in here talking about, what are we talking about? Right. Why is your life even at stake? Right. Why is this even a question? Keep going.
Come. Verse 4. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondsmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage.
She said, listen, if we would have just been going into another captivity, I wouldn't even be coming to you about this. But they trying to kill us, sir. Daddy. Right. That's what she said. Right? Listen, man, she got me. Yeah. I'm bound. Yeah. Keep going.
Verse 5. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he and where is he?
You hear that? Look, he want to be the hero now. Right. Who and where is he at?
Right.
Tell me where he at. Just tell me. You ain't got to. Where is he? Keep going.
Who is he and where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so? Verse 6. And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is the wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen.
Stop. This is beautiful. Right. She called him to the dinner so he could come in here and be set up. Right. So let me tell you something. See, black and Hispanic men, they get set up like this right now. Right. After the strip club. They get set up like this right now in hotel rooms. Right. But she set up a heathen like this so that he can get destroyed. See, our people set each other up like this right now. Right. But in the past, we set up other nations like this. Right.
If I could ask, sir, Haman is an Amalekite.
Right. Absolutely. Right. He's a Jewish man that we would call today. Right. He's an Amalekite. Right. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 7. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen. For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the palace of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before him in the house?
So what happened? So what happened was, you gotta run that back. I'm just run it. This is my favorite part right here.
Verse 8.
Hey, this is the conclusion for the whole thing. The comment. Yeah.
Verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the palace.
So look, the king was mad. All right. He was like, my right hand man trying to kill my ribs family. Right. Oh, I can't take this. So he stormed out the room. He gonna stand on the balcony to get him some fresh air. Keep going.
Into the place of the banquet of wine.
Go ahead.
And Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was.
Haman simping. He laying across the bed like, please. Simping. Please don't kill me. Please tell the king that you change your mind. Please, right. I'm sorry. Right. He's laying on the bed with the queen. Keep going.
Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
Then the king walked back in the room and see him laying on the bed with his wife. He's like, you gonna force yourself on my wife in my house? Now you gonna take mine? What he said after that? This is my favorite part.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Hannah's face.
Guess what happened? As he was saying that, the goons came in with bags and put a bag over Hannah's face and snatched him up out the room like an angel. Just took him out. Now, this man had power. He built 6-story gallows to kill us the day before. And now today, he's walking us down the street with our horses, with crowns on our head and garments on our bodies. And now our sisters is having him being served up to our king. And guess what we had to do? Just stay loyal. Let me tell you something about this feast day right here. This feast day ain't about nothing but loyalty. Righteousness and loyalty. You don't have to be strong, big, and bad to serve our God. You just have to be obedient. It's that simple. If disobedience got us in this predicament, then the only thing that can get us out of it is obedience. Right. And that's what he did. What the Lord is showing you is that I don't need your gun. I don't need you to have a strong military. You don't have to do some COINTELPRO. Right. You don't have to lie and cheat. You don't have to do any of that. Right. Listen, just do what I tell you to do. That's right. I'll handle the rest. That's right. Listen, she said, when she said, if I die, I die, that showed the Lord her quality right there. The Lord said, oh, she's selfless. Okay. All you have to do is show the Lord that you're going to stand with him. Right. And he will do the rest. That's right.
Go ahead. Verse 9. And Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king.
That's like, that remind me of Habana.
Yeah, I know, I was going to say. Behold also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon.
What did the king say?
Hang him thereon.
What did the king say?
Hang him thereon.
The king agreed with Haman to make the gallows. The king knew the gallows was for the people of Mordecai. Right. Yeah. And then the king changed his mind, and now the gallows is for him. Oh, wow. Today, our oppressor could just be all against us, and the rich of our people can be against us, and they could be standing with our oppressor. And tomorrow, the rich of our people can stand with us against our oppressor. Right. And guess what's going to happen? This place is going to fall overnight. That's right. The Bible says to gather yourselves together, O nation not desire. That's right. All we got to do is come together. We don't see the value in coming together. Our brothers is coming over here over the border, and guess what black people talking about? Taxes. If they keep coming over here, our taxes raising up. Nigga, you don't pay taxes anymore. Real talk. You got a tax woman that make your tax make it look like you only make $30,000 a year. Right. So you can get some good taxes back. And you want to talk to me about taxes? Listen, you already struggling. Right. Now you're gonna have to struggle with your brothers and your sisters in order to survive. Because if you think about yourself, you're gonna die alone. We always say this. The wolf pack survives longer than the lone wolf. That's right. Remember that. If you say, I don't need nobody, I got it, well, I keep the command, I keep the Sabbath. Come on. The new moons. Yeah, the new moons. All of that. I study by myself. The Holy Spirit teach me. Come on, Cal. The Holy Spirit gonna have to be with you when the EMP drops. That's right. Now, how many phone signals was out yesterday? Ooh-wee. Yeah, your phone was out, and everybody was out to calling me like it was the end of the world. It's like, sir, is your phone on? Come on, Cal. Are you I got 4. Are you getting this message? I got 4. Are you getting this message, sir?
Damn.
Listen, man. You're gonna have to have some faith.
Right.
Because the EMP is going to drop. And America is going to fall.
Right.
And today is going to be 2024, and you're going to wake up, and it's going to be 1611. It's going to be the dark ages.
Real dark.
And you're going to have to be ready, because we ready. And you know what the only thing that you're going to be able to have to keep you? Is your brothers and your sisters.
That's right. That's right.
We are all we got in this captivity. We are all we got. All we have is one another. And that's what the Lord wanted it always to be. Right. The Lord say we family.
Right.
And what does any father want for the children? For his children to be together. If I got 4 sons. I don't want my sons bickering, fighting, splitting up. The only thing that I'm going to want for my 4 sons is for them to love each other.
That's right.
That's going to be my whole design.
Right.
My heart design prayer is that YAHANNA and YAHANNA come together. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom finally say, you know what? We not northern kingdom and southern kingdom. We're the house of YAHANNA.
That's right. You know what I'm saying?
We come from the same father. But when is blacks and Hispanics going to look at each other and say, I'm not black, I'm not Hispanic,
right.
I'm an Israelite.
That's right.
That's what we need to do. And that's what this piece is about. This piece is about the unity of the black and Hispanic man, male and woman. About how the woman's role is just as important as the man's role. Because this woman was in an arena that the man couldn't even get in.
Right.
The man could never even go in the gate. But she was in the palace. And if she were to listen to the man, the poor man outside of the gate, listen to what I'm saying. If the queen, the rich woman at the top, would have never listened to the poor man outside of the gate, the entire nation would have died. Put that in your chest.
That's right.
You got 20 degrees on that wall. You was associate, bachelor, master's, doctor, PhD, you all that. Summa cum laude, magna cum laude, all that.
Yeah.
But you use all the laudes.
Yeah, the line. All the lines. Yeah. All the lines.
None of that matters. Because that poor man outside the gates is who you need to listen to. That's who you need to listen to. That's the coldest part.
That's right.
Do you know how many of our people are in the seats right now?
Right.
But they don't listen to you because they don't respect you. They fight and get their ass beat and be branded to be Greeks.
Right.
They're a Greek?
Right.
An Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta?
Come on, Carol.
Listen now. Listen. They will die for that.
That's right.
But an all by God die?
Right.
They don't have a clue what that is.
That's right.
They don't know about the I and the thought.
That's right.
But they know about the Alpha and the Omega. Damn. We destroyed, huh?
Right.
We gotta get to knowing and fighting for each other and not for them.
That's right. Like you, sir.
Go ahead.
If I could, the National Black Caucus is the largest group of the caucus on Capitol Hill, sir. Out of the Congress and the Senate, the National Black Caucus, we have the most representatives in legislation, sir. We don't get nothing passed.
We don't get nothing passed because we are in there to just bow before them.
Right.
We in there like, yeah, we made it. We are in those seats to look down on our own people.
Right.
Not to make changes.
Right.
But that's another conversation. Let me go to Esther 8. This is it. I know y'all hungry. I got 3 more minutes and I'm done. What you say,
Just read verse 10.
Go ahead.
All right, it's Esther chapter.
You read 10 already.
Well, I read verse 9.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 10. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Let me tell you something. I'm an oppressor. Is gonna get hung. The scriptures say, he that diggeth a ditch will fall in it. Our oppressor have dug many ditches for us to fall in. That's right. And once they fall in the ditch, then our king will be pacified. He will feel better. You know why Christ's eyes is red? Because he has been watching how we have been being treated. Come on, chapter 8.
Chapter 8 from the top. That's the chapter 8. On that day did the king Ahasuerus.
No, go ahead 3.
Come, verse 3. And Esther.
I just want y'all to listen to this, sisters. This is heavy right here. Go ahead.
Come. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman and the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews.
What did she go in there and do after this? What did Esther do? Did she go in there? Go ahead. Give her a hand. Esther was the queen. She had power. But she went in there with total submission and bowed herself before her husband and cried and was thankful. A woman's power is her femininity. Right. Not her neck and her eyes and her WAP. That is not your power. And that is what the world wants you to believe. The world wants you to believe that your WAP is your power. Right. That is what they always say. A woman has, what everyone wants. Right. What a man really wants is a soft, loving woman. Right. And you can get a man to do whatever you want, being soft and loving. That's right. Your WAP won't keep him. But that tender, delicate spirit, right. Listen, man, he ain't going nowhere, and he'll kill anything that get in your way. Verse 7.
Come. Esther chapter 8, verse 7, it reads, Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house hammer, and he have hanged on the gallows, because he his hand upon the Jews.
Listen, he gave Esther Haman's house, because the wealth of the wicked is stored for the righteous. That's what the scriptures say, Cap. That's what the Bible is going to do all day, because that's your inheritance. Your inheritance is these people are rich today, right? But tomorrow they could be your slaves. Right. And that's what we pray for. Drop down 11.
Verse 11. Wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Let me tell you something. The Lord is going to give all of our enemies to us as an inheritance. All we got to do is stay loyal, stay down, stay obedient, and everything that we want, we're going to get. All right? Let's get it. 15.
Verse 15. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen, and was glad.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 16. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor.
Listen, in the book of Revelation, it said, this is the patience and the faith of the saints. If you are patient and having faith in what you see happening right now, look at what's happening right now. Look at what's going on here. Everything that you see happening right now, the Dow is falling. Banks, Citibank is closing.
That's right.
But the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA is open.
That's right.
We opening up everywhere all over the earth. There's a new school. There's new schools being opened all over the earth because give me that Daniel. Let me get that. I'm done. Daniel 2:44. I got it. Daniel 2:44.
Come.
Hold up. And the Jews had light and was glad, and in every province and in every city, whatsoever the king commanded, there became a decree that the Jews had joy and gladness and feast a good day, had many people in the land that became Jews and feared the Jews, and the fear of the Jews fell on them. Let me tell you something. When people see your culture, they're gonna want to be you. Right. I seen a white girl in the club the other day with fringes on, and it almost killed me. She was like, "Man, I had to go and get me one of those jackets. I be seeing you guys with those fringes on, and I just wanted to, and it just kills me."
That's right.
But I understood because she saw the salt.
That's right. Yeah.
She saw it.
Yeah.
She saw the salt.
Yeah.
And the salt, the flavor that the Lord gave us should not be hidden.
That's right.
We don't have to hide the spirit that the Lord gave us.
That's right.
The Lord said, don't hide your light under a bushel.
Right.
You got to put it up on the mountaintop so everybody can see it.
Right.
That's what we doing. Give my scripture.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. And in the days of these kings,
while all of these people that's at the top, Daniel had a vision about the men of the last days. He said in the days of these kings, what you see right now, those kings, you see Russia, you see America, you see Iran, you see all of these kings sitting on those thrones. In the days of these kings, go ahead,
shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed.
While Putin is sitting on the throne, while America is sitting on the throne, while China is sitting on the throne, the God of heaven is setting up a kingdom that'll never be destroyed.
That's right.
Keep going.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
We're going to share it with everybody.
The kingdom shall not be left to other people.
No, we're gonna unify and love one another.
The kingdom of heaven shall not be left to other people.
We're not gonna share this kingdom with nobody else.
Right.
Keep going.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all kingdoms.
But we're gonna break everybody else and consume everybody else.
Right.
Keep going.
And it shall stand forever.
Yeah, that's right.
Forever.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Which means stand. We're going to turn and face the east. The east is that way. To the side. We're going to turn to the left a little bit. There we go. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abano, Shabbat Shemesh, Wadah, Hayah, Yahweh, Lapaka, Aba'ah, Tzadaka, Hayah, Asha, Ratazah, Hayah, Shemesh, the thunder now, come, the book, the salak now, the book now, the salak now, the book now, cover your eye now. Wanna say what? I'm saying now. I'm a luck boy. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Y'all already know.
Curses.
You know what's coming.
Go ahead.
That's what's coming now.
Popular request. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things living. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh, listen to us now. Right now. Sin, evils, and curses. And punishment and destruction. And death. To the heathen that speak against us. Thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, and death to the heathen, and shake loose the pocket of the rich of Israel. They refuse to give to the school. Give their forces of Salakia. Force their riches is to enter into the sanctuary. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. And death to the Edomite. And death to the Edomite. And the nation. And their drug dealers. The court system. Prison system. Planned Parenthood. All the governments of our enemies. Everlect synagogue and army. Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, the Ku Klux Klan, the Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine, Wall Street, open up the internet, and the airwaves, and the cable access channel, radio channel, and convict the spirit of any of our people that seek to stop us, and bring swift death to all the heathen, and stand in our way, and try to stop us, broadcasting our word, throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the terror. Let loose all the terror. Let loose all the terror. And cause them to go to and fro throughout the earth and destroy. Cause the terrorists to come against America and destroy them in their stronghold. Let America shake at the hand of the terrorists. Let Yahweh Shah, Michael and Gabriel, come down with the flying sword and destroy all the heathen that come against us, that speak, that speak that word. Cause it to be known by all. That it was the angels who had done it. Cause it to spread throughout the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake it thy coming. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you always. So be it. So, turn. Give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine Barak, Yadu Matah, so, sisters of Imagine, please stand. Give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine Barak. Yadu Matah, glad this. Wow.